Okay, so that was me when I was still eating avocado toast every day, when I was still having, tahini and heavy nut-based dressings on my plant-based diet. But fast forward, and I am now down over 30 pounds in just 14 weeks from basically just omitting the overt fats. So today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to omit those overt fats, as well as what to use to replace them. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Stasia, and like I just mentioned, I've lost over 30 pounds in just about 14 weeks by more or less just doing one simple thing, and that is to get rid of the overt fats from my diet. Now, I am no stranger to a plant-based diet, as I've been on a plant-based diet most of my life, and it's the weight loss part that I've really struggled with. But recently, I feel like I've finally kind of cracked the code, so to speak, and I've really started to see things start moving. Now, I want to preface this video by saying that I'm not saying that I think that everyone should omit their overt fats from their diet, or that's the only way to lose weight. Nothing like that at all. I am simply just sharing my personal experience that I kind of actually stumbled upon by accident as I was trying to calm my gallbladder issues down by following very low fat. And as a result, the weight just kind of started flying off of me, and I've just kept up with it, and my gallbladder's happy as well as my weight loss. But from a nutrition standpoint, I have a lot of respect for some of the plant-based fats like avocados, nuts, seeds, and for the right person, it can definitely have a great place in your diet. So again, this is just my personal experience of what has worked for me and what I'm currently doing. Now, the problem with omitting fat from our diet is that fat gives our foods satisfaction by making them richer and thicker and just delicious, if I'm being honest. And especially when it comes to those sauces and dressings, I mean, they just make our food taste better. But wait, hold on, don't lose your hope yet. That doesn't mean that our food can't taste good without it. It just simply means that we need to know how to make our food to replicate it as though it did have fat in it without using fat. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. But before we jump into today's video, in case it is your first time landing on one of my videos, I am very happy to announce that I've recently just put out a brand new weight loss ebook that has all of my own personal recipes that I have been following to lose this 30 pounds in 14 weeks. I literally kept track of the foods that I was eating the most over these past few months. I have a literal list of them, and the recipes that made the cut are the exact recipes that I found that I was eating the most of. Now, if you are looking for some more recipes in general that are oil-free, plant-based, I do have my other ebook that has a variety of different plant-based recipes using no oil at all, but some of the dressings in that ebook, as well as my sauces and dressings ebook, do include some nuts and seeds. Now, there are easy ways to swap those out, which I will be talking about a little bit later in today's video. However, this new book has completely zero overt fats in any of the recipes, including the sauces and dressings. So you will find starchy recipes, non-starchy recipes, some oil-free sauces and dressings, as well as my fiber protein shakes, which are incredible and have also been a huge part in my weight loss. It's all in that ebook. So if you are interested in checking it out, then be sure to be one of the first 20 people to check it out, because the first 20 people will get my weight loss recipe ebook at 50% off. So if you're interested in checking it out, that link will be posted in my description box below. I'm not joking when I say I literally have my laptop open all day long and I just kind of refer to my ebook as far as what I'm going to eat next. That's how applicable it is to my personal weight loss journey. But at any rate, let's talk about how we can switch our food up a little bit without using the overt fats and still have them taste good. So I'm gonna start first with talking about using beans in both our dressings and our shakes. So this one has been transformative for me. So if you're not a bean lover, this is also an excellent way to get the beans in your diet. Because typically when we think of beans, we think of like savory type of dishes like tacos and that sort of stuff, and burrito bowls and all of that, which I like those things, but they're not my number one go-to. Now, my favorite way to get the beans in is my fiber protein shakes, which again, there is a whole chapter of recipes included in that ebook. And I also put out this video showing those fiber protein shakes, so you can check out that video as well if you're interested in knowing more about them. However, I love using beans the most in my fiber protein shakes because you don't taste them at all. So if you don't like beans, then this literally is magical for you, you, because when I say you can't taste them, I mean you literally cannot taste them at all. And in terms of the amounts, I typically will use about a half a cup to 1 cup of beans. I just use them depending on how hungry I am or how full I need to stay. So if I'm hungry and I know I'm not going to be able to make it to my next meal for many hours, then I'm going to use a whole cup of beans in those shakes. However, if it's just like a snack, or I'm going to be eating another meal shortly after, then maybe it's just going to be half a cup of beans. Or if you're new to beans at all, then you can even go less than that. Start off with 1/4 of a cup of beans and work your way up. So the amount of beans is totally up to you. You can still follow the same ingredients as far as the rest of the shake goes. So at any rate, these shakes end up tasting amazing because beans give our food this really creamy texture that's very similar to fats. So before, I probably would have added a few walnuts or maybe a little bit of avocado in my smoothie to give that really creamy type of thick effect. The beans handle it perfectly. So they make all these shakes nice and creamy. The trick is to not add too much liquid and let those beans work their magic and make the shakes nice and thick. And now the other thing is using the beans for our dressings. So again, going back to my original weight loss recipe ebooks, if you have those copies, which there are some fantastic recipes in those books as well, then all I was doing when I was following along those recipes is I was just swapping out any nuts or seeds in my dressings for beans. And I was completely shocked with how good it actually worked. One of my favorite dressings right now that I'm eating, both as a dip and a dressing, I just use less liquid to make it a dip and a little bit more liquid to make it a dressing, is my Caesar dressing. And yes, that is in my book. I love this. I can literally put it on everything. And I used to make it using almonds or walnuts. Now I make it using beans. So either chickpeas or even white beans. I will use that and it literally turns out incredible, and there's 0 fat. It's the creaminess in a dressing or a sauce that we're chasing after. When it comes to sauces and dressings, and especially if you're new to a plant-based way of eating, it's quite underwhelming to just spritz a little bit of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar on your salad when you're used to using a heavier dressing that usually has some type of fat in it. So it's definitely underwhelming, to say the least. That was never truly exciting for me, and actually kind of became quite a deterrent for eating my salads because I just couldn't do it. And if I did, I literally was trying to just choke it down. And that's like the number one thing I promote on my channel, is you have to enjoy your food, because what ends up happening is that if you're literally trying to just force yourself to eat something, then you're gonna just stop eating it because it doesn't excite you. And so that's kind of what was happening with me when I was just trying to use just the vinegars or just a little bit of lemon juice. But now with the Caesar dressing, which is my number one dressing that I'm loving, I'm able to eat massive salads again, and I'm enjoying it just like there's fat in it, but there's not. So that would be my number one tip, is using beans in those shakes and beans in the dressings to give it that really creamy effect that we get when we're eating fats. Okay, so my next one I already just kind of touched on in my first one, but that is to use sauces and dressings that are both thicker and flavorful, as opposed to that lemon juice or vinegar. So another sauce that comes to mind that is really good at giving that like full fat satisfaction without any fat is my cheese sauce that I'm totally obsessed with right now. It's so easy to make. It's not like these cheese sauces that require potatoes and sweet potatoes and carrots and you have to actually cook it. I whip it up in 5 minutes. It's just a few ingredients that also can be found in my book, and it's under spicy cheese sauce, but honestly it's only spicy because I add a little bit of Frank's Red Hot to it. But if you don't like any spice at all, then you can just simply omit the hot sauce, which I even sometimes do. But the actual cheese sauce itself is super incredibly easy to make, and it's so thick and delicious. I literally feel like I'm eating some type of like real cheese sauce that has fat in it. So I love, love, love eating that cheese sauce on top of my spiraled zucchini or really any type of veggies. If I have a huge plate of steamed veggies, that cheese sauce goes amazing on it. So just like my Caesar dressing, my cheese sauce gives me the same type of feeling like I'm eating fat in the sauce, but there's absolutely no added fat whatsoever. So I would definitely try checking out my cheese sauce. It goes great over potatoes, over veggies, and my favorite is the spiraled zucchini. But you want to find sauces and dressings that actually have a lot of flavor in them, that the consistency is nice and thick. And I promise you, you're going to be a lot more excited to eat those with your meals, and in turn just be excited to eat your meals in general if you can find even just a couple fat-free, oil-free sauces that you really enjoy. All right, so my next hack, if you will, is to blend your soups using potatoes and beans. So potatoes and beans are excellent in making our foods feel rich, thicker, and creamier. And this is particularly true for our soups. I feel like soups and my homemade protein shakes are like the main things where I never miss the fat. Like I don't even notice that there's no fat at all. I have a really super delicious, easy potato soup that I've been making a lot of lately. And I actually will be putting out a video very soon showing that recipe. And it also can be found in my weight loss recipe ebook as well. But for example, that soup is amazing when I'm really craving a meal that's, like heartier, richer, and just creamier in general. So I find that soups are really, really great if you are missing the fat, that you just blend them up, and the consistency that potatoes as well as beans give to a soup is like the fat is there, but it's not. Okay, so my next point is also maybe one that I lightly touched on in the first point, is to use less liquid in your shakes or dressings and sauces if you want them to be a little bit thicker. So this is another problem sometimes we run into when it comes to sauces and dressings, especially if there's no fat in them, is that they can just be almost too liquidy, and then you're not really getting that satisfaction. It's kind of going back to the whole just using lemon juice or apple cider vinegar or any type of vinegar, right? So if you're really wanting to kind of like trick your brain into feeling like you're having a full fat type of dressing that's heartier and thicker, you know what I'm talking about, then the key with that is to reduce the amount of liquid. So perhaps you already have a dressing or two that is a favorite of yours. You can just try simply reducing the liquid by even a little bit, and the consistency will be a lot thicker, and just see how you like it that way. So when it comes to any of my sauces and dressings, such as my Caesar one that I was talking about, very often I will just reduce the liquid in it, and then all of a sudden it turns from a dressing into a dip instead. So the dip is great if I'm just having, some veggies or whatever on the side, and the dressing's nice when I really got to spread it out between a huge salad. So even though you have the measurements there with certain recipes, whether they're mine or yours, and the consistency will be different, and you might be surprised how much you actually enjoy the difference. And also when it comes to the shakes, just keep in mind sometimes less is more. So even though certain measurements will be there, you can always start off by adding a little less liquid first, because we can always add more, but you can't take out the liquid very easily if you've already added it, right? So even with the shakes, I tend to like mine on the thicker side. However, you might enjoy them on the thinner side as well, which in that case, you can always add a little bit more liquid too, if that's how you prefer it. But for me, I like to have that creamy type of ice cream feel. I actually think that's why I love those protein shakes so much, is because they're kind of dessert-like a little bit, right? So when it comes to getting my greens and stuff like that, I don't like adding them to those shakes. I want to keep them, dessert-like, so that I can actually look forward to them and fully, thoroughly enjoy them for what they are. And that's why I've created those fun flavors like Snickers and Reese's Pieces Buttercup and all these fun flavors. And as far as greens, I get a ton of greens in everywhere else in my diet, whether it's green smoothies or my salads or steamed greens. So I'm not worried about not getting enough greens in. So those shakes are exclusively for deliciousness as far as I'm concerned. But I actually just love having them on the thicker side. And again, it gives me that like full fat type of ice cream feel. So I'd highly recommend giving that a try, and just maybe even slightly reducing the amount of liquid to it, and see if you like the thicker, creamier texture better. All right, so this last tip I'm gonna leave you with is for the avocado lovers out there. So if you are like me and you loved avocado toast or love avocado toast, and you're not loving the high fat content that avocados bring, then try checking out my pea guacamole. Now, I'm gonna say this does not taste exactly like, avocado guacamole. So let's just start there. It is definitely not the exact same, but I would say that it's a pretty good runner-up in terms of having absolutely no added fat, but at the same time, the same ingredients and flavors that we love so much in our guacamole. Now, I'm personally reducing my breads and pastas. That's not to say I'm never gonna have them again, but just during my weight loss phase, I am phasing them out, so to speak. So I'm not currently having any toast. But if you are eating toast, then I would really recommend trying this pea guacamole on a slice of toast even. And if you're not eating bread like me, then I just like to enjoy it with some veggies on the side. Even though it's not the exact same as guacamole made using avocado, but I just feel like it does work as a nice substitute when I'm wanting some guacamole. All right, everyone, so those are some of the things that I do since I've removed the overt fats from my diet. And I've just found by doing all of these things that it just makes my life, my meals, so much happier and so much more exciting. So if you're really missing the fats, if you're really struggling to let them go, these are a handful of things that you can try, and you can let me know in the comments how it works out for you. If you are new to my channel and you're also on a weight loss journey, or you'd like to follow along mine, I give tons of advice, progress updates, as well as all my recipes that I'm using to get this weight off. So if you're not subscribed, then be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out. And if you found any little nuggets of good info in this video, if you wouldn't mind hitting the thumbs up, that tells YouTube that I'm doing a good job. I'm gonna wrap this up by saying that I've struggled so badly to lose weight. So when I say, and I mean when I say that if I can do it, you can do it, that statement is coming from my heart, because I have struggled. I've been there, I know what it's like, and now things are starting to move. I still have a long way to go, but hey, 30 pounds down, I'm taking it, and I'm very, very proud of myself and very, very happy, and I know that you can do it too. So keep up with it, stay consistent with those low-fat meals, and if you're still eating overt fats, then possibly try reducing them or cutting them out for a little while, just to see if that helps accelerate some weight loss. So I'm gonna leave it here. Don't forget to check out that awesome book sale. First 20 people gets it half off. Link is in the description box below. I will see all of you in the next one.